Join me as I dive in the mind-blowing experiment to see how far people will go when they think authority is calling the shot. That's right. I'm talking about the Milgram experiment. It's one of the most famous psychological studies of all times, and for a good reason. It conceived by psychologist Stanley Milgram in the 1960s. It's aimed to explore just how obedient humans would be when faced with authority figures. What he discovered was nothing short of shocking, and it had a lasting impact on our understanding of human behavior. The Milgram experiment poses significant ethical dilemmas as it blurred the lines between psychological research and manipulation. Participants were led to believe that they were part of a learning exercise while they administered electric shocks to another person. Now, whenever they answered the question incorrectly, they would get electric shock. In reality, the real study was observing the participants themselves as they were pressured to continue administering electric shock, increasingly severe shock, despite of their own morale reservation. Now, the fact is, most participants went along with the experiment, even when they show clear signs of distress, raises uncomfortable questions about our willingness to follow orders, no matter what the cost. Now, this experiment has had a profound impact on our understanding of obedience and morality. Now, it's made us question whether we're capable of making sound moral judgment when influenced by the authority figure. Now, the results also sparked debates about the perils of blind obedience and the importance of critically evaluating the instructions we receive from those in power. Moreover, the Milgram. Now, the experiment has far-reaching implications for field education, where authority figures often hold significant sways over what we're taught and how we think. Now, the experiment's findings have also led to a re-evaluations of the roles of significant situation factors in shaping our behaviors. It has become clear that our actions are often determined by the specific contents we find ourselves in, rather than inherent moral character. Now, this is realization has significant implications for how we approach issues like corporate conformity, political obedience, and even the rise of the Nazi Party in World War II. One of the most striking aspects of the Milgram experiment is how it highlights the power of role playing in shaping human behavior. Participating were convinced they were taking part of a legitimate scientific study, and the perception alone was enough to make them override their own moral compasses. Now, this finding was significant implication of our own understanding of how social roles and norms influence our actions. Now, let's dive deeper into the experiment setup and explore the psychological theories that explains the participants' behavior. Now, the experiment consists of three main components. You had the teacher, the learner, and the experimenter. The teacher was the participant themselves responsible for administering the electric shock. The learner was the actor, pretending to be the fellow participant receiving the shock. Now, the experimenter was the authority figure instructing the teacher to continue with the experiment despite of the reservation. Now, participants' reactions were striking. Now, many exhibits visible signs of distress, from sweating and nervous laughter, as they struggled and reconciled their own moral values with the experimenter's instructions. Now, some even displayed a kind of dislocations as if they were observing their own actions from outside of their bodies. Now, these reactions are telling as they highlight the intense psychological conflict that arises with a personal morale clash with authority pressure. Now, one of the most revealing aspects of this experiment is the way participants justified their actions themselves. Can you believe that many convinced themselves that they were simply following orders, and that the experimenter was ultimately responsible for the consequences? That's interesting. Now, this kind of morale disengagement is a common coping mechanism, one that allows us to step aside our feelings of guilt and shame by attributing the blame to an external authority. It's the blame game. Now, uh, dramatizing of this conflict between personal morals and authority pressure is one of the most shocking aspects of the Milgram experiments. It's stunning to see how quickly participants surrender their autonomy, abandoning their own moral principles in favor of obedience to the experimenter. The phenomenon is all the more chilling when we consider the relevance of real-world scenarios where blind obedience can have devastating consequences. As we explore more shocking moments from this experiment, it's striking how dramatically the participants' moral values were overridden by the pressures to conform. One participant, for instance, continued administering shock even when the learner begged to be released, claiming they had a heart condition. Another participant was brought into tears, yet still continued with the experiment, convinced that the experimenter knew best. The Milgram experience serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of the unchecked authority and the importance of critical thinking in our daily lives. By understanding the psychological mechanism that drives our behavior, we could better resist the pressure to confirm and make choices that aligns with our own moral values. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the Milgram experiments. It's a sobering reminder of how the importance of questioning authority and staying true to our own moral compasses. What do you think? How far would you go when faced with authority pressure? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, like the information I'm bringing to you, don't forget to like, share, and comment below. And most importantly, do not forget to subscribe